Hi everybody, in this week's discussion you're going to focus on database constraints, and you can think of a constraint as a range of values that maybe a field can have. You might have an age field, for example, that you want to restrict to the ages 0 through 150. Not a lot of people live past 150, at least not today. Or you might have some date fields in which you have a trip that you're going to take, and so your starting date should always precede your ending date. So if you're leaving on July 4th, you shouldn't land back at your airport on July 3rd. And so that's a database constraint. When we deal with constraints, we have several ways to do it. Excuse me. Normally we have some kind of code in front of our database. So we may have a form that user's filling out. We might have a web application. We might have a Windows-based application, but we have some opportunity to validate the data that the user enters. And so we can do it on the front end, meaning in front of the database, in front of our server. We can have our Java code or our C# code do that validation on the dates or on the ages, or that they've included a valid zip code or a valid email address. Or we can wait and we can do it on the back end, meaning the server can do it, or our database code itself can have a constraint on a field. And so as a developer, you have to decide where are we going to implement the constraints at. Do I want it to be in the code? Do I want the database to do it? Do I believe the programmers that they're going to actually do it in the code? Otherwise, we have a hole where dates may not be validated, and then we'd say your database lacks integrity because the values in our database can be invalid. And so as you post the discussion threads, I want you to discuss whether or not you think the constraints should be done on the front end, the back end, both, the disadvantages of doing it in both. And so I guess there could be performance issues. If you do it in both, it's a little redundant. If you do it differently, then there's still a chance for errors. But is it safer to do it in both places and enforce it on your developers? So I'm interested in your thoughts. I will see you in the thread. I look forward to your feedback.